all of your subpopulations are scoring about the same, and all of our subpopulations grew a lot last year, and that would have been the year for Peter Burnett School to become a California Distinguished School. But the problem is the white population grew just as much as the other populations, so we didn't do anything to eliminate the achievement gap. But all of the subpopulations, that school grew by 50 API points last year. So we think that maybe next year they'll be able to get there. State-of-the-art school facilities, all of our schools are new. Our oldest school was built in 2002. So essentially, if I just give you a 2-second history of the district, from 1896 until 1940, we only had 100 students. And then with the growth of the armament industry during World War II, we went from 100 students in 1940 to 3,000 students by 1965. And then the families that moved into the Wiseburn School District really liked it and they didn't leave, so there were no houses for people to move into. So what happened is we went from 3,000 students down to 1,100 from 1970 to 1985. Then my predecessor, Dr. Don Brand, who's a city councilman up in El Segundo, he started marketing our school district outside of Wiseburn. So we've slowly started to come back. We now have 2,500 students, and 42% of our students are on permit, which means if you don't like where your children are going to school and you want them to go someplace else, you can apply for a permit. So we have a large number, 42% of our students are on permit. So you see balanced diversity, excellent technology tools, class sizes of 10 to 15 reading instruction. We've been able, because our enrollment continues to grow, we've been able to keep class sizes small. Our first grade class sizes are 21 to 1. Most of the school districts around us have gone to, say, 25 to 1, 24, 25 to 1, and in some cases even up to 30 to 1. At second grade, it's 23 to 1. Then in third grade, it goes up to about 27 to 1. At kindergarten, kindergarten class sizes are actually about 28 to 1, but they do what we call early bird, late bird. So half the kids come for 2 hours, and so you only have 14 kids, and then 2 hours later, the whole group is there for about an hour, and then the early birds go home, and then the late birds stay, and they get 2 hours by themselves. So for most of the day, they get 14 to 1 student-teacher ratio. Next. Juan de Anza School is our oldest elementary school at this point. Reopened in knocked down. It was originally built in 1946 and rebuilt in 2002. Beautiful school. API scores of 875. We have a lot of students that come to us because that's our northernmost school. We have a lot of students that come to us from Westchester and from up in View Park. We market ourselves as a private school education at a public school cost, which is free. Next. Second school is Peter Burnett. They have an API of 865. That school went through a major renovation last year. We added 6 new classrooms, and we're in the process of adding a multi-purpose room. This school was originally built in 1956, and has never had a cafeteria. And actually, the kitchen is like a closet. So it's time to do something and bring this school up to the same standards as the rest of the school district. So that project will start next summer. The plans are at the division of the state architect, and if you know anything about school construction, it takes forever to get projects. Schools are the safest buildings in the community. They way over engineer them. So it's expensive, but they're also the safest buildings. Okay, next. Juan Cabrillo School was finished last year in January of 2009. Their API scores went up from 828 to 887 just this past year. So it's a beautiful elementary school. That's a K2 school. So just kindergarten to second grade. We have 7 kindergartens and like 9 first grades and 9 second grades. And then they feed into Peter Burnett, which is a 3-5 elementary. So basically the same families in two different schools. It's one school on two different campuses that are within about 100 yards of each other. And next, Dana Middle School. Dana Middle School is a National Forum school to watch, which means they do a lot of research and study into how to improve education. We're one of only 3 national schools to watch in Los Angeles County. It's also a California Distinguished School. It was completed in 2007. So Dana Middle School has got a wonderful, wonderful reputation. Have a lot of innovative programs going there. They've got a robotics team that competes against high schools and competes very favorably. Last year at the International Underwater Robotics Competition, which they held in Phoenix, Arizona. I don't understand that one. But, our team came in 9th out of 30 teams, but the teams included private people, high schools, and colleges. So they did a wonderful, wonderful job. They get started very, very early there. And then after that, if you go to the next slide, you've got the Da Vinci Charters. The Da Vinci Charters are those very, very wild colored buildings on Aviation on the right-hand side if you're going north, just north of Rosecrans, south of El Segundo. Basically, that building was built in 1927, and we are going to be knocking it down. When we passed the last bond, we told the community that we were going to return that to soccer fields and baseball fields, but we needed a place to start the charter schools. So Da Vinci Science and Design opened its doors last year in August. Last year we had 390 students. This year we have 700. So we have a freshman class and we have a sophomore class and a very, very small junior class of 64 students. And we have a small junior class because we wanted to kind of prime the pump in terms of accreditation and starting on a small scale working with the curriculum. So next year we'll have our first graduating class. It'll be a very small graduating class, again, of 64 students. But the students actually came up with the name of the school because you've got the design, you've got the art focus, and you've got the science focus. So Da Vinci has both of those. There's only one other Da Vinci high school in the state, and that's up in Davis. So anyway, they do a wonderful job. The Da Vinci Charters are not officially part of the Wiseburn School District. They're what you would call a highly dependent, independent charter. We go to all of their board meetings. They go to ours. Our business office runs all of their back office, but they chose to be independent so they wouldn't have any collective bargaining, and they would be able to do more in terms of fundraising. Because some of the large corporations don't like to give money to school districts sometimes because of issues with collective bargaining. We have a very, very positive relationship with our bargaining units. The teachers are extremely supportive. They've done a wonderful job, and I'd say that that's pretty prevalent throughout the South Bay. They do a very good job with that in Redondo Beach. They also do in Manhattan Beach. So it's something that we embrace. You'll notice that the science side does a wonderful job. One of the neat things about science is in their first year, you see their API score is 807. Their language arts